Welcome. Now we'll look at how the earth was divided and conquered. Okay, and let's go to Joel 3:2, which says, I will also gather all nations and will bring them down into the valley of Josaphat and will plead with them there for my people and for my heritage Israel, whom they have scattered among the nations and parted my land. The earth was literally divided. I know many people just think the Berlin Conference and those borders was it. No, the earth was literally parted. We are living in the literal times, and we need to examine everything literally. We must have eyes like those of a child. Children are literal, okay? So the land was parted. 1 Corinthians 10:26 says, For the earth is the Lord's and the fullness thereof. So we know the earth belongs to the Lord. It doesn't belong to anybody else. And this is the earth that was parted. Leviticus 25:23 says, The land shall not be sold forever, for the land is mine, for ye are strangers and sojourners with me. Okay? So earth was in perfect alignment. And we know that because Genesis 1:31 says, And God saw everything that he had made, and behold, it was very good. And the evening and the morning were the sixth day. So this is, just forget this image. Imagine this is just earth, or one unit. Okay? And then there, it's divided. You know, Pangaea, they say Pangaea was just the earth, one unit. Actually, this is said Panga, to arrange. It was arranged as one unit, Panga. This is actually part of my dad's name, Lubanga, Banga, Panga, okay? So it was, okay, this is the deck, let's say it's on a deck, and it was one unit, but this, it's like a saucer, and then like a cup saucer, a saucer, then you turn it over to the side. So not only was it divided, but it slid from its actual position. And that's why you have the original prime meridian, okay? And then the new prime meridian. Okay, so we have the original Giza prime meridian, and now we have this other prime meridian. So that's probably 23 degrees off. I don't know, I haven't checked that, but it's possible. So this was maybe like here, okay? And then as it moves, everything goes out of alignment. This is where the UN, normally that symbol of theirs, trying to completely take control over this. But there's also tons of other land masses, call them continents, which of course they never talk about. So it begs the question, did they conquer all this before they got in here? Or did they start with here? Or they divided it and then split it into all these other continents. So we have family all over here, just so that you know. Okay. So using the ship analogy still, this would be like the ice wall. Okay. So what caused the dividing? Was it fracking? You know, this entity is still fracking. It's just fracking, concrete fracking. Okay? Just breaking the earth, the mantle of the earth. And warfare, torpedo. Did they torpedo the earth? Did they use explosives, the military-industrial complex? So this is a ship that has been torpedoed with explosives. Okay, this is a better image. What does this look like? Does it look like Tartaria? That's Tartaria. Okay. So if I have chance, I will do the Tartaria video, but already you can start to see what could have happened. So that sudden breaking off or change of alignment position, it's instant mud flood. Instant. Okay. So we all know that Earth was one unit. There's no debate about that. And we have a lot of images showing how that broke up. This is one of the ancient maps, so you can see how this is just one whole unit. And I think this was all the way around. Okay. Okay, so imagine this is Earth breaking up. Okay, so catastrophic. It was a catastrophic event. So these are lifeboat or rescue boat. Let's see another image like the Titanic. So a lot of people get away in lifeboats as it's happening. So these lifeboats would be like the lands that broke off. Okay, so the mainland still remains Africa, and these lifeboats would be the other lands that broke off. Okay, so all these are breaking off and then they're going to be dispersed in the sea. And I want to say here that if it's true there was migration of people, it's true there was slavery, but I believe some people in these lands have always been there. As this broke off, they've always been in those lands. So, and this is especially for places like Brazil, where you have a huge diaspora population. It's true there was all that migration and slavery and all that, but I do believe that some of these people, when it broke off, they just went with that. This is really for all islands, and especially America. I think the biggest chunk is America that broke off. So when you have our American brothers and sisters saying that America is Egypt, they are correct, because America broke off from that part of Africa that would be Egypt. So they're absolutely right when they say that. They've always been here. They've always been on that land. They've always been on this land. They're absolutely correct. But there's also migrations and slavery as well. People just need to realize we are the same person who are divided by a nefarious entity and stop looking at the differences as weapons, but instead use them as tools. Okay? So lifeboats are other land masses that broke off the mainland. Okay? So this front part that sank it, I believe, is South Africa. And then this other part broke off. The Egypt became America. Okay. Some of the islands or the lands that broke off sank completely. They just sank like Atlantis. And we have a lot of underwater cities. That is how they came about. Okay. And we have prehistoric continents discovered in the Indian Ocean. So that already tells you that history is just an arbitrary timeline. Our history is from the beginning, the original of the world. But this entity that divides the earth creates history from their own timeline because they don't know what happened before that unless we tell them. Okay? Again, just more imagery. So pre-breaking up, and after it breaks up, a lot of other lands are sunken. And why I think Africa is the mainland, or rather it's the main ship, because these other lands are smaller that broke off, and we see now even science says that they can fit in here, so they are that much smaller. Okay. And this breaking up is still happening now.
A combination of heavy rain and seismic activity has resulted in a huge tear in Kenya's Rift Valley. The rift tore apart the busy Mai Mahiu Narok Road and split farms and houses apart. Seismic activity caused the African tectonic plate and the Somali plate, both part of the East African rift system, to tear apart, leaving behind a 50-foot wide gap. As these plates move at a rate of just a few inches per year, rifts form in the land, and these rifts are the initial signs of a continental breakup. In the case of the East Africa rift system, a large magma plume in the asthenosphere is pushing up on the mantle and crust, essentially dooming it. When this break does occur, tens of millions of years from now, Somalia and parts of Kenya, Ethiopia, and Tanzania will break apart from Africa and form a whole new landmass.
Okay. So you have to believe that the breaking did occur, because it's still happening. It can happen. This is what is predicted to happen to Africa. Sometimes I wonder whether these continents, or it's puzzle pieces that maybe are trying to be put in the right place. Okay. And with the initial, I want to show you something. Attack, like I call it. This is how you suddenly get a desert in Egypt. Okay? Because people say it just happened suddenly. This is how it happened. Okay? This is how you suddenly get that. Okay? Okay, I hope this makes sense and it doesn't sound like really weird science or stuff that somebody's just making up. Okay? Thank you very much for watching.